New York City's school children, they're enjoying their winter break right now, but plans are being put in place to ensure a safe return to the classroom after the holiday break.
We've been ordering tests. We've anticipated this day. We want to make sure that we have at least 3 to 3.5 million tests out to our schools, dedicated exclusively for children in schools, and we're working to get those out there. In fact, we are deploying over 2 million test kits to the City of New York schools so they can be in hand for the school districts to be able to deploy them the way they choose.
Now, the numbers are pretty staggering. Pediatric COVID cases, they've gone up 5-fold across the city over the last week, which has parents and teachers sounding the alarm about trying to keep kids safe. Teachers Union President Michael Mulgrew joining us this morning with the very latest information. Good morning, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. I hope you're having a decent day.
We're having a very nice day so far. Thank you for joining us. Let's get right to it. What's your reaction to the state's plan to distribute these home test kits across New York City public schools by the end of the week?
Well, we requested that from the governor's team last week, so we're happy that they're saying that they will make that delivery before the end of the week, and then it becomes about distributing them to all of the schools so that the kits are on hand in the schools for utilization, which is a massive undertaking.
Yeah. Now, last week, you were considering the possibility of calling on Mayor-elect Adams and the new schools chancellor, David Banks, to shut down schools. Have you spoke to either of them directly about returning to remote learning?
Yes, we basically spent the holiday weekend together, all of us, trying to, first it was we needed to get our surveillance system, testing surveillance system back up and running, the system that worked for us last year. And we've been talking to both the Eric Adams and to the de Blasio folks. And I believe they're announcing later today there's been significant progress made there. And then it was about how to layer in the rapid testing. How do we come up with a program to make sure the rapid testing, which our doctors are telling us now is a vital new tool that you need to use with this strain of the virus. But again, until everything is in place, we still don't know if we can say it's safe for, we're doing everything in our power to keep our children safe. And that's where we're at this moment.
Yeah, just for clarity, though, when they do these random testings at schools, are the teachers also allowed to get tested? Or have they been kind of left out because many of them are vaccinated?
Well, I think what you will hear today is that the testing at the schools will include the adults moving forward. Because we know that if you have not been boosted, a booster is a major thing with this strain. And the last thing we want is to have a teacher who is vaccinated in a classroom who's positive with children who aren't vaccinated. The story you just showed is our biggest fear. Yeah. So that's why I can't amplify this enough to the parents. Please vaccinate your child. We want your child in school, not in the hospital.
Exactly.
That is for sure. So many things to be considered here. Would you consider the option of delaying the school openings until the city just gets a better handle on this latest surge?
Yes, absolutely. We wouldn't. Last year, we were very clear that if we have a good plan, we have a plan that meets the criteria of the doctors that we all work with, that's great. But a plan is only a plan. It doesn't actually help schools unless everything is in place. So that's what you're going to see for the rest of the quote holiday week. Just like last weekend was everybody working together to recognize that we have problems, and plus we need new measures because of this variant. Put that plan together, and then it becomes, all right, how do you implement this? Because again, New York City, the size of our school system is enormous. 1,600 schools, 1.2 million people. You have to look at every school building. Virus doesn't care if you're an adult or a child now. That's off the table. Everyone's getting treated the same by this virus. So it's 1.2 million people that you have to come up with a plan to keep safe.
Yeah, including the teachers. So teachers have complained to you about not being able to get through to the situation room, which was set up specifically to track COVID cases in public schools. So how effective has the situation room been since the students returned to the classroom in September? Has it improved at all?
Oh, it's slowly falling apart, and that was because we're dealing with the transition of government. That's why last week we were trying to work through this, and then it was like, all right, enough is enough. You have a new variant coming that's much, it's very infectious, and the situation room basically was crumbling. So that was that's the first thing we started working on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Sunday. That was the first thing we're working on. At the same time, working with the governor and her team to say, are we going to get the 2 million rapid tests that we need? And thankfully, she was able to get she's getting those to New York City. So now it's like, all right, everyone said what they're going to do. It's now making sure everyone does what they say they were going to do.
Exactly.
Well, Michael, when the students go back, if and when the students go back next week, does there need to be any new COVID safety measures that we haven't seen yet, new ones put into place?
I think we have to, and this is what's getting worked out. The rapid test is something that now becomes a very important tool because you can get if it's a positive rapid test, it just basically and it's a high validity if it's positive. If it's negative, you can get a false negative, but when it comes to positive, it means that that individual is infectious. So that's the main piece. You want to keep people when they're in the infectious stage away from others. So the rapid test is a tool that we can use to determine that. So that becomes this whole new layer, a whole new tool in our safety system that we have not had before.
Yeah, you know, if you're a parent sitting at home, they're going to want to know, what is your gut telling you? Do you think that kids are going to return to school next week?
If this all comes into place, then children will return to school. But just like we saw right before the holiday, I think attendance is going to be very low because parents are going to wait.
Yeah.
And I understand that. They're going to wait to see. But that's why I'm also asking parents, make sure you really have to, you know, in New York City, we're a little bit under 30% of our 5 to 11-year-olds vaccinated. We need to get that number up. That number has to come up. If not, our small, you know, our youngest children in our school system are constantly going to be in jeopardy. So I really would hope, and this is the next piece that has to be worked on, a real campaign to get our youngest children vaccinated between the ages of 5 and 11. Because we know, as you just saw, hospitalization, the children are unvaccinated. We don't want our children in hospitals.
And they can get it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for your time. UFT President Michael Mulgrew